Hi, everyone. This is Gogo. I'm the founder and managing director of Gogo Chin Consulting. And welcome to the In Pursuit of Customer Loyalty in Conversation series. Joining me today, we have Mickael Dufourneaud. Welcome, Mickael.
Thank you, Gogo. Thank you for having me here. I'm so glad to be here today.
So a bit about Mickael. Mickael is the author and he's an executive coach and a TED Talk speaker. He's mostly renowned for being the process communication model, PCM master trainer. He certifies PCM trainers and coaches around the world, myself included. And over the past 12 years, Mickael has trained more than 10,000 people on a variety of subjects, including the process communication model, public speaking, communication management, and leadership skills. And he's passionate about connecting people for daily difference and is truly the master of human and customer psychology. Process communication model, it's the science of my consultancy in supporting my clients to curate better customer experience and grow loyalty. So I'm very honored today to have Mickael with me and to decode more about PCM. So thank you again, Mickael, for joining us.
Thank you so much, Gogo.
So let's start.
Wonderful work you're doing. Thank you so much, and thank you for the wonderful work you're doing.
Thank you. So Mickael, I'm not going to be lenient. Let's start with a more challenging question. So tell me something that people don't normally know about you.
What they don't normally know about me, it's challenging, yes. Well, I have started my career as a comedian, so I was playing roles already. I embraced PCM especially for that, because PCM is all about personality types and how we behave in our daily communications. So being an actor from start was very helpful for me to play roles and identify to them genuinely. And yeah, that's something that people discover about me very quickly when they get in a training with me, because I like to play those roles, but that's not something that a lot of people know.
Definitely. And if anyone is interested to know which comedian, he's still playing, that's something we can catch up offline.
Yeah.
So Mickael, tell us more about what you do and what are you most proud of in your career and life experience?
Wow. That's another tricky question. What I'm most proud of, well, I think it's getting where I am at today, being able to be a master trainer and director for the world, and concentrating on the art of training. For me, training is an art, and getting people to get some motivation out of their training. I learned that from my child just the other day, like 2 days ago. She came back home and she told me, "Oh, Daddy, I don't like school anymore." And I'm like, "Why don't you like school? It's wonderful. You can learn so many things." And she told me, "But the things I learn, I forget them right away. The things I learn with you when we go on a trip or with experience, I remember them." And that was an insight for me, because for me, it's how we are supposed to learn things. We learn things when we are interested to learn, when we want to learn. And when we are talking about communication, I think everyone wants to learn communication and to be a better communicator, because most of the problems in the corporate system are coming from communication problems. There's a lack of communication, and people think they understand each other, but they don't. So having a map is so important. So that's what I'm proud of. And sorry for my answers too long, but there are so many things that I dedicate on now, and the art of training is the most important point for me.
Totally. And I will always remember what Mickael had taught me, help people to help themselves. It's really empowering.
Exactly. helping people to help themselves. This is definitely a starting point for PCM. It's not about how we teach, it's what people want to learn. And we cannot help someone that doesn't need help or is not asking for help. All we can do is teach people to help themselves. So this is a very important point, yes.
Great. So, Mickael, as we talk about, PCM as a tool, and what we're so proud of is that it's called as the human interaction decoder. So can you tell us more about what does that mean?
Yes, thank you. PCM is a map. It's a map of interactions, how people communicate, how people are interacting together, and it gives clear cues on how to recognize behaviors. The map is so thin, so precise on words, tones, gestures, postures, and facial expressions. It's that map that helps us help people. And the human decoder means that we can influence the relationship. And it's so important that we differentiate influence from manipulation. Influence is very positive. We cannot not communicate, so we cannot not influence. We have to go back to the basics. It's so important to be genuine in the act of influencing. And when we are selling, when we are discussing with our partner, when we are discussing with our children, in every act of communication, everywhere, every day, we want to make a difference. And that's exactly what PCM is there for to do. So that map is going to help us be more precise in how we communicate by identifying behaviors. So the human decoder, that's what it means. Knowing to recognize words, tones, gestures, postures, and facial expressions in every single conversation.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's exactly why one of the key principles for PCM is how we say something. It's mostly more important than what we say in a conversation because of the dimensions and in a human interaction.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. But what we say is less important than the how we say, for sure.
Great. So, talking about tools to help with the human interaction, like there are many communication tools available in the market. And Mickael, I know you have experienced a whole lot of them. So how is PCM different to the other tools in the market?
As you say, I have a lot of experience, and I don't know all of them, but I know most of them. And for me, the biggest difference is that PCM is not about types of people. It's types in people. So I have these personalities in me. I have one personality, and I have access to all the possibilities in the world in terms of communication. So for me, the most important is that it's not a limiting tool. It's helpful to be more aware of myself in the communication process and be able to recognize what the signs the other are sending to me. That will make a big difference.
Right. And Mickael, I remember you also share with us that, PCM is not a personal growth tool. And it's quite an interesting way to position, this tool, right? Can you tell us more about that too?
It's all about awareness. So is what we are saying with the map. PCM is a map. And it's a map of human behaviors. And it's all about being more aware of what we are doing when we are doing it. So it's not about being a better person. I know for some of the other tools is, and I have to say that I don't really like that. It's I hear a lot of people nowadays saying, "Oh, I want to be the best version of myself." What does it mean? I'm not sure I quite understand. It's always pushing you to be better in what
Mm.
way? For me, the big difference with PCM that it's more about being aware of what you have inside you, and that awareness is going to give you a key to work on some of the strengths that maybe you have or maybe you don't have. But first, I have to be more about me, because the more I know myself, the more I will be able to know the others better. And when I know the others better, I can deal with myself better and then deal with the relationship better. But it starts by me, and the map is great of knowing me. And of course, when I know myself, I can be a better version. But the tool is not designed for that. So that's what I try to say with that.
Totally. So Michael, move on to the next question. Customer loyalty is the core of my consultancy, and it's something that we resonate a lot together, because how we see that and how PCM plays a role in that. So can you tell us more about what is customer loyalty to you as individual and to your profession?
Thank you for that question. So important. Loyalty, for me, the root of loyalty is trust and respect. And it's also the root for PCM. Our map is designed with some prerequisites of we have to be positive in the relationship and recognizing that everyone is positive. And loyalty is, as we said, knowing myself, knowing the others. I can see someone coming in my shop and recognize him right away and adapt to him. I know that at the beginning, when I was in the sales process with PCM, I was so passionate and I wanted to push people to buy PCM. I'm like, this is the best tool ever. Come on, buy it. This is great. You're going to love it. And I forgot something so important. It's my client's need. So with experience, I learned to not sell PCM, because the tool by itself is just a tool. And it is so great. And it's such a powerful and strong map with so many details that if I want to sell just the map and not knowing where the person wants to go, I'm fooling myself. So for me, going back to your question, loyalty is that process of wanting to know my client better and respecting my client to gain trust and confidence in the relationship. Because I know that my tool can provide many, many solutions for him. But first, I need to know what he needs and start and grow the relationship on that need, because I know I can answer. I have many possibilities and solutions. But if I want to push something, makes a big difference as, okay, what do you need? So loyalty is very much about that. For me, it allows respect, trust, and it goes back to fidelity. Because if I can answer his problem at that precise time, he will come back to me to grow a stronger relation over time.
I can't agree more to every word that you just said, Michael. And like, let's continue on that loyalty topics, and let's give it more context for the team that works in retail and who works in the service industry, right? How does it look like to apply PCM, in their context, in the shop floor on a daily basis?
Great question. Yeah. The shop floor is PCM. With PCM, as we said, you have a clear map of human behaviors. So what would you say if I can give you a map that allows you to recognize some very typical micro signs of when your client is coming in your shop, is pushing the door, and observe the way he's pushing the door, observe how he's pushing the door, observe how he's saying hello, what he wants from you when he's coming in the shop. So all these micro signs are for us the heart of what we do in PCM. We are human observers, and we can adapt to these signs to make the process of the communication go more fluid. Maybe before PCM, I would want for everyone to communicate like I do. With PCM, I am knowing how to recognize those microsigns and be more precise on, okay, that's how they want communication. An example of that is, for example, if I push a shop, a door shop, and I'm kind of a quiet type, you know, so I don't usually say hello. I go around. I like for the salesperson to respect my space. And usually what I get is, hey, hello, Mickael. How are you today? What can I do for you? This is hell on earth for me. If you do that with me, I fly away. And I didn't know why before PCM. Now that I have PCM, I know it. And as a salesperson, I know that some people love to be welcomed and, oh, thank you for coming here today. And some others, they don't. So it goes back to introvert, extrovert. But with PCM, you have a more precise map of that, and being able to adapt in the relationship right away with micro signs and learn to get those signs is so important.
I love that. And, you know, like when I work with retail, a lot of teams are so keen to learn about capture data and information. And what Mickael has shared with us is that the data capture is not just about what the client said. It's, again, going back to the posture, gesture, facial expressions, and all the body languages that they're sending over your way even before they talk to you.
Yes. Preferences. We have our own preferences in terms of communication. What PCM says is that there are 6 different ways, 6 different preferences. Learning those preferences is a great value in the customer relationship.
Yes, and certainly stay tuned to these. We will talk more about preferences in details in other episodes and my content sharing as well, because it's a very powerful tool for you to understand and engage with the clients in a much shorter and precise context. So, you know, Mickael, I know that you have a lot of beliefs and principles. So when it comes to looking after your customers, what are some of your core principles, or we call it non-negotiables?
The first point is we all have the same value. All human beings are born equal. And we are all what we say is plus plus. We are okay. So it goes back with the difference with some people think that they have more value. So it goes back to the intention and posture. The second non-negotiable is we all have the 6 types in us. It's what we said earlier about it's not types of people, it's types in people. This is very important for me, and it goes back to the art of teaching. It makes the difference with all the other models. We do not want to put people into boxes. This is definitely not about that. It's not about human boxes. It's human behaviors, recognizing those behaviors and being able to adapt to them. These are the 2 main non-negotiables.
I love the inclusiveness of PCM and how we make it really applicable on a daily basis as well. So, Mickael, going to my next question, a lot of retail teams and my friends that works in service also like knowing me having this interview with you today, they're curious to hear from you. Like, what are some powerful questions in helping them to cultivate long-term relationships with the clients or business partners and from a PCM perspective?
The most important questions, to my point of view, are the questions you ask yourself. Showing respect to the client is very important, as we said, and that's how we establish loyalty and trust. But first, the first client is ourselves. And getting to know ourselves better means before I go in the sales process, I need to be clear with myself. It's like, how am I feeling today? How did I take care of me? Because if I did not take care of myself first in a genuinely authentic way and be okay with myself, I cannot be okay with the others. So it's all about taking your needs in consideration first, and then I am ready to go. This is the main question. Do I respect myself enough to be able to respect the others? So this plus thing, this okay, win-win, has got to go with, am I okay with myself? And then I can be okay with the others, recognizing the worth of the others.
Mm-hmm. So the first one is about me. So am I feeling good enough? How do I put myself in an okay situation? And there's another perspective we talked about, like it's also important to respect everyone that comes in. And would you like to share a bit more about that too?
For me, it's the prerequisite. It's going back to like every customer that comes in the place, I want to be in a okay intention, okay posture with them. What is my intention? Do I believe that my product is worth so much that it's better, it's too good for him? I have that feeling from time to time when I'm get into a shop, you know, it's like, oh, ooh, this is impressive here. And the posture, the intention of a salesperson can give me that insight too. So when I'm welcoming someone, I want to be sure that everyone's worth it. And I have the intention to be positive with a person and welcoming with a person, whoever that person is. So that posture is so important.
Thank you. Thank you for those two guiding principles, for the retail and service team. And, today we have touched quite a lot of aspects, and I know it's only just on the surface. So with that, actually, Mickael is very generous to offer one delighting surprise to one of the fortunate viewer. Mickael, do you want to review that, please?
Yeah, thank you. We talked about that, and if it's okay, I can spend 30 minutes with someone that has questions, more questions about that, and I will be willing and happy to answer those questions for 30 minutes if you want.
Thank you so much for this very valuable offer to the audience. And thank you, Mickael, for your time and insight today. It's super helpful, even for myself, and I'm sure the audience have learned a lot from you too.
Thank you so much, Gogo. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.